Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is what time? Technique Tuesday. I'm Suzanne Runyon. Welcome to HSN Gets Crafty. Okay, I hate to do this to you, but that is super loud in my ears. If you could just maybe fade it out just a hair. Oh, I do hear it. Yeah, I can hear myself too. Sorry, I'm talking to DeWitt. He is my producer slash director slash all-around fabulous guy, and he has joined me tonight. I love you guys. Hi, crafting cuties. How are you? Okay, this is so funny. I came in, and I have such a crazy setup for this Technique Tuesday, and it's probably the most complicated setup I've done so far, and it's probably one of the most fun things I've done in a really, really long time, because I took something really obscure and decided we were going to spend our Tuesday hour together with this technique, and I promise you it's going to be really, really crazy fun. At least I loved it, so I hope you do too. So what we do is I start out like this, and if you've never seen the show, number one, if you're commenting, and we love your comments, I try to read a lot of them, please put first timer if you're brand new, because I really want to highlight those of you who have never seen the show before, and welcome if you are brand new. All right, number two, what we also do is I start with comments to begin with. Thank you, dear. I can't see that far. I start with comments to begin with. I do some shout outs, but because we have our new Facebook page, which I'm going to show you in just a second, it's gotten really fun because I also am going to feature some of the things you guys have posted over the last week. Oops, sorry, it's not staying.
I gotcha.
We're having some, wait, let me see if I got it. Maybe I got it that time. Yes, okay, now it's working. So what we do is I do have to shorten my shout out time because I'm now highlighting what you guys are posting on our Facebook members group. So let's look at it. Here it is. If you haven't joined it yet, that's fine. I'd love you to join. Many of you have. I think last count we were at 2,400 people within about 2 weeks have become members of our group. And it's a special Facebook page, and I love it so much because you guys are now sharing. We've been doing the show for about 2 years, and I always wanted to see your projects. I wanted to be a group effort. I want people to get answers and to help, and I post stuff too. And I love it because some of our wonderful partners, they're posting their how-tos on it that link back to the products that we have on hsn.com. So it's just the coolest place ever, and help grow our little crowd, help our crafting cuties get bigger and bigger. And I love all of you who are posting all your creative projects. You can be a beginner and everybody's really encouraging. I love any level. I want you to enjoy and come and have fun because we're such a supportive, cool group because we're all passionate about crafting and being creative in general. By the way, I would recommend if you do quilting or if you do sewing, maybe you do things that are things that we don't feature a lot here on HSN. I'd still love to see it. If you've got a beautiful quilt you've made, I collected quilt for years, or maybe you make baskets. We actually have these little mini basket weaving kits that we've offered before. That was a lot of fun. I'd love to see that. Of course, I have many of you who do scrapbooking and card making. You guys are fantastic. But yeah, if you've got some kind of project that you're doing that's a little out of the box, post it for us so we can all cheer you on and admire your work. All right. Let's start out with a couple of hellos because I like to get everybody on board before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show. So Patricia is joining us from Pittsburgh. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Good to have you with us. Antonia is back. Hi, Antonita. We also have Demetria. Welcome. She's from Mississippi. Joy is here, and Joy is a very, very active poster. So if you want to see her amazing things that she's posting, Joy, thank you because you're so creative, and she posts some unbelievable works of art, quite frankly. So you definitely want to check out Joy on our Facebook group area because she's super, super talented. Carletta's here. Hi, Carletta. Linda as well. Janine is here. She says, so glad it's Technique Tuesdays. Stacy's here. Hello from Mojave Desert in California. I love all my Californians. Lori is here from the Garden State, which is New Jersey, by the way. Let's see. Linda, Cheryl Burns, and others are watching you. Yay. Linda's here from Columbus, Ohio, near Columbus. I grew up in Delaware, Ohio, which is very near Columbus. So hello, Buckeye. Barb is here and Brenda's here. She said this cutie is watching from Kentucky. Hi, Brenda Kay. She's one of our longtime viewers and members who joined us. Marilyn's here from Cutler Bay, Florida. We have Karen from Kentucky as well. Janine is watching. Hello. Mary's a first timer. Hi, Mary. How are you? We have Beth watching, and I don't want to mess your name up. Pamij. I'm just going to say Pam, and maybe you've added a few more letters to it. From Davie, Florida. I'm sorry if I totally messed that up, but I'm happy you're here.
love to know how that's pronounced.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's lovely, and I'm glad you're here. That's what counts, right? Anyway, Sandy's joining us. She's the first timer. Hi, Sandy. How are you? We have Edie joining us from Rocky Mountains in Colorado. Lucky dog. It's so beautiful, the Rockies. Lucy's here from Palm Harbor, Florida. Christina is a first timer. Hello. We have Lupe watching. Welcome. Brenda's a first timer. Hi, Brenda. We have Jennifer, and Arnez is a first timer from Tennessee. Look at all you first timers.
And it's just Pam.
It is Pam. Okay, thank you. I did too, but I thought, oh, you know, I just hate messing it up. All right, we also have Lisa joining us, and Joyce is a second timer. Well, welcome back. I love that. Patricia's a first timer. Hi, Patricia. Deepa's joining us, and Mary, she says, hi, Suze. Hi, everyone from Harvey, Louisiana, across the river from New Orleans. Well, thank you. I love getting directions on where people live, especially if we're not familiar with the city. Susan said, Susan, fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, if you've never watched our show, occasionally we do dip into football talk, only because I do a ton of our NFL shows and I'm a huge football fan, both college and NFL. And yes, fingers crossed, every Eagle fan, we're a nervous Nelly mess. Whether we're losing or winning, we're never happy until we actually win the Super Bowl. So anyway, good luck to the Eagles. Lots of great stories. Andy Reid, I like him. I don't like him now. I loved him because he's the Eagles coach, but now he's the Chiefs coach. And well, I still love him anyway. I think he's great. But so it's going to be a first game. Great game. Christine, hi, welcome. You're a first timer. Hello. We have Tammy and Lisa's joining us. We also have Carrie joining us from Virginia. Patty's here. Another Patty's joining us from Tennessee. She says she's an old timer here. Hi, Patty, old timer. We've actually been doing this show for 2 years. We're going to go ahead into year 3 coming up to it in March. Well, because that's crafting month, right? I think that's when we started.
It was launched in Crafty.
Yeah, crafting month. So a lot of big plans coming up for March too, by the way. Let's see. Janice says, hi, Suzanne and Crafting Cuties from a long timer in Marietta, Georgia. Welcome back. Linda and Christy's here from Kentucky. Marilyn's joining us. Sue's here. Tina's here. She's a first timer. Hello, Tina. Welcome. She's from Maryland as well. Lisa is clapping and waving at other folks, which I love. Judy says hello from Illinois. Carletta says, oh, they're all saying hi to each other. So cute. Karen is watching. Hi, Karen. Melanie says, good evening, Suzanne. Suzette, love the name, says, hey, Suzanne, I know you're an Eagles fan. Are you ready for the game? You guys are so cute. No, I'm not ready. I'm panicked. I cannot. I'm thinking my last shift on the air, because I'm actually playing in a tennis tournament this weekend. My last shift on the air, I believe it's either, well, what's today? Tuesday. Okay, it's either Wednesday or Wednesday going into Thursday. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, I'm thinking about wearing my Eagles shirt.
Do it.
I know. I don't know. I just might. I just might have to. Hello, Ruth. All right, guys, I'm going to keep going. DeWitt is watching everybody. If anybody's got a longer comment, a question, or a first timer, DeWitt will alert me to it. He's doing about 20 different jobs because I know you guys always want me to kind of get into everything. So, and especially, I just want to say hi to everybody. Wait, one more first timer. Bonnie, hi Bonnie. She said, join your crafting with Suzanne just now. Thank you. I hope the group just gets humongous because it really is a neat place to hang out. Okay, so I was scanning through all the stuff we have on hsn.com. And you have to kind of dig for a while to really kind of see the assortment. And there'll be things that will surprise you. And so as I was scanning through, this came up and I said, I have to do this. It's shrink film. We have shrink film on hsn.com. Now, I did not know we had that until I was doing a deep dig. I'm sure I had a vodka diet while I was doing it because I was sitting at home and I'm just going through page after page. And I said, I have got to do this. So this is going to be our featured item tonight. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
You're ahead of me. I
have to shout out to my friends who I wanted to feature their items. Sorry, I got a lot going on. All right, here we go. First one is... what did we decide? It's Lene. Lene said, look how cute this is. She said, I like to make clean and simple cards with a bit of something special. So I grabbed some of my new little darlings, creative goodies from HSN, and made a quick Valentine's card. I used the floral silhouette die, the stencil die, and some pattern paper and sequins from my stash and pulled together something sparkly. Is that not fabulous, guys? Like, look how fun and how cute and happy that is. I love that one. All right, Melanie says she did love letter surprises, and hers is called Will You Be Mine? Of course we will. She used Anna Griffin dyes and other products. One of my favorite cards, just had to share. I had to share it too because is that not elaborate and gorgeous and beautiful and, just just so pretty. I mean, imagine getting that card. I'd be so thrilled. All right, then we have Linda. She posted this, which again, since we're close to Valentine's Day, we're sharing a little love. And I just wanted you guys to see how dimensional this was. She's gonna need a big old thick envelope for that baby because she's got a lot of really cool techniques that she used on it. She says, hi everyone, I wanted to share my most recent card that I made for my friend's birthday. I used all mediums in my mixed media, but for cards, I used Anna Griffin, diamond pressed, and Crafter's Companion die. So I think that's kind of cool that that's 3 of our really big craft suppliers here, and it's neat to see all of you using a little bit from all of them, which I really love that. And then finally, we're going to feature Victoria. Victoria said, I like to make floral arrangement and wreaths. I learned from my mother who took classes with 4-H when she was younger. And you know what? I just wanted to show that because it was just something different, and I thought, well, thank you, because indeed, floral arranging is absolutely a creative pursuit. So I love it. What do we have a request for? See what you look like or what outfit you have on today?
Yeah,
go that way. This is Duet.
Hi, cuties.
Yeah, how cute is he? And he always has the most, I mean, these are shorts he can't jump up and show you. Can you go back? Yeah. Did you see it? He is the cutest thing. And every one of his outfits are just like that. If you go into a party, you'll know who DeWitt is. There is no doubt about it. He has a very distinct wardrobe and he's adorable. He's like the nicest guy and he's so cool. And he actually even set up, I'm sending him, like between me and him, I'm sending him the craziest ideas, right? And I said, DeWitt, can you set up this one camera today for us? And he said, yeah, I'll do it. And it's going to turn out, you're going to see it. It turned out really, really great. All right, now that we've seen DeWitt, so you know who he is, keep monitoring, if you will, DeWitt. I know you're doing 8 jobs over there, but I don't want to miss any first timers. So hang in there, guys. All right, so now I've already revealed the secret. We are going to shrink it today. Now, some of you have remembered when you were younger that maybe you played with them, or maybe when you were a kid or whatever. And I thought, these, we're going to bring them up to the modern century, right? So here's a little bit of history about this whole shrinky idea. It actually started, I did the research, I'm such a nerd. It started in 1973, and it was by 2 housewives who were in Wisconsin. And they were working on a Cub Scout project. And somehow they came up with this idea of this paper that can be shrunk into a really hard, cool thing. And I loved it. So that's just a little bit of background and history on it. Ours is called shrink film. And if you can do it, I know you're busy over there. Can we do the overhead shot? Because I want to kind of explain this. You're getting 6 sheets and they're 8.5 by 11. That's what we have. Now what we're talking about is 5 flex pays of $4 and some change. It's $20.40. And you do get the 6 sheets. Now, there's a lot of different shrinky stuff out there. And I actually am doing a comparison between one that I tried and I tried ours as well. And I'm really glad I did the comparison. I do believe ours is more versatile and I liked it better. It allowed me to work with more things on it than the other shrink film that I worked with. That was somewhat limiting. This one specifically has a lot of advantages, and I'm going to get to that in just a bit. So hang with me to figure out, well, why this one versus a lot of other stuff that's out there, and I will get to that. All right, so let's start with our projects, and I'm just so afraid I'm missing. And also I want to know if you guys have tried any shrinky like when you were a kid. And have you ever played with this, or did you just do it with your kid, or maybe you're just like, you know, like a huge shrink fan and you do it every day. By the way, Joan from Delaware, Ohio was my husband's hometown. Oh, I love that. That's my hometown. Yeah, Delaware. I do want to say, Lisa says, hi, Suzanne, love ya, and the show. This is my 3rd show. I'm hooked. I love it. Julie's a first timer. Leslie says, wear your shirt, girl. Oh, I'm getting votes for wearing the Eagles shirt on the air. I might have to. Tammy says, go Steelers. Well, maybe next year. Patricia, good luck to your Eagles from a huge Steelers fan. Thank you. Keep it in PA. There you go. All those Steelers fans, you need to be cheering for the Eagles. All right, so I'm just going to make sure, DeWitt, we've seen your outfit. One more. What is this one? Oh, Donna's another first timer. Hi, Donna. Welcome. All right, I'm going to keep moving. So I do want to, oh, wait, here we go. What did this say? One of my new favorite things to do with shrink film is to make earrings. You can print on film, use your electronic machine to cut them, use a heat embossing gun to shrink them, and flower foaming tool to shape them. That's from Victoria West. So do me a favor, do it. I know you're doing 20 things. If someone does comment specifically on ideas with shrink, let me know, because I know a lot of you want me. Oh, Deneen says, oh my gosh, just found shrinky dink stuff in my stash today. Well, hopefully we're going to motivate you to get that stuff out because you're going to go crazy after I show you everything. All right, so I'm going to move on. First timer, Gladys, welcome. Oh my goodness. Amelia says, oh my goodness. She goes, I have some shrink sheets. Okay, here we go. So you take the sheets. Now my very first project is going to be this one. And I'm going to start by building a card. And by the way, I'm going to slip in just a little card technique. So what I did was, when I went to design this, you have to take into consideration shrink size. And I'm going to show you comparisons. So if you've never worked with shrinky stuff, you're going to learn how to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my tape because I'm actually going to build this card. Oh, this one's out. Oh, shoot. Well, let me go find another one. Hang on, everybody. Stand by, please. I'll use my Anna Griffin. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attempt. Tell me this one's not out.
Oh, no.
No, it can't be. Okay, it's just being stubborn. Ooh, good Lord.
Working?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to explain how I did this as I'm finishing the card. So again, this is my card shape. Now, what I did is I'm going to make a pop out of this. And I'm going to show you guys, especially if you're newbies, how to do it, because it's actually a really easy technique. But what I did to figure it all out is I worked with just regular old printer paper that was inexpensive to figure out my dimensions for my shrinking, okay? Now, here's what I started out with. This is going to crack you up. This is a full-size sheet. Now, I did this, and one of the coolest things you can do, and it kind of relates to that one comment that we just read, is I'm going to start using my Cricut as my print and cut. So if you don't have Cricut, a Cricut machine with Design Space online is a design world, and a Cricut actually will print something out of your printer and then cut it out of whatever it is you put in the Cricut. So we're going to go to my computer so you guys can see this. And you're going to see a bunch of these designs are coming up in this little Tuesday Technique Tuesday. So let me show you, here's where it is. So there is my original. Let me show you how I found that. I'm in Design Space. I'm going over to Images. So I'm going to click Images. And then what I did was I typed in birthday, B-I-R-T-H-D-A-Y. Okay, now over on the side over here, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do Operation Type. And I'm going to scroll down so you can see it. Let me try to get down here. There we go. And see how it says Print Then Cut? So I'm going to click that. Now, only images that I can print and cut will come up. So now here's all these birthday images. So I'm going to print them out in my normal old printer. I've got an HP printer at home using this paper, using the shrink paper, and then I'm going to let the Cricut do the cutting. So here's all these cute little designs, and if we keep scrolling down, you're going to see I picked one of these cakes coming up. So I picked the cake, I click on it, you click on it, and then I'm going to add it to the canvas. It's not the same cake, but you get the idea. So here we are. Now here it is on my canvas. Now, I had to think through, quite frankly, so look how it came out originally. You have to think through. When you do shrink, they typically are going to shrink to 20% of their size. So that was part of the fun. And I would recommend having them playing a little bit to test this out. Don't use too many sheets on it, but you kind of want to figure it out. But I ended up starting out with this one was 8 inches high by 4 inches wide. And that's about right. So if we go to my overhead camera, you're going to see here's how here's the whole sheet. So this is 8 inches high by 4.5 wide. Okay, so that's what it started out. I ran it through my printer, my regular HP printer, and you ready for this? This is how it came out. It's so stinking cute. Oh, thank you, DeWitt. And it's hard, and look at the color. It is so much fun because it's very much unlike just doing layers of paper. It just doesn't have the same cool effect. It's so neat. I just love it. Now, here's a little tip for you when you start working with it. This is exactly how it printed out from my printer. Whenever you shrink, it's always going to become darker. So I really like that. So when you're working with your projects, and I'll give you another example later, you want to keep that in mind. Once you go to shrink, everything sharpens up and becomes darker. But because this did the cutout for me, because I let the machine do my cutting, you can see how cool. There's no edge. I let it bleed, and the machine cut this whole thing out. I didn't have to cut it by hand. So there you go. I hope you love this first idea. Also, I'm going to show you something funny. I wanted to make these magnets because I thought, well, if I'm going to give them as a card, I want people to be able to do something with them, right? So here it is. This is from something from Anna Griffin. Or you ever get any of those calendars in the mail from like real estate agents, and they're magnets for your fridge. I just cut pieces of it up and just stuck it on the back. So I'm going to put it in my card, and then when the recipient gets it on the envelope back, I'm going to say, hey, by the way, this is a magnet, so don't throw it away. So basically, I would probably use a much heavier glue or sticky something, or even a hot glue gun. But just for our purposes, I'm going to use it here, and I'm going to take this, and watch what I'm doing. I'm just going to take it. And again, I would probably use a hot glue gun, because then you could pick that off when they go to actually use it as a magnet. So now when they open it up, you ready? Oh, okay. Come on, I get a little bit of, wait, and I got one more thing to add, because of course I couldn't stop there. Of course I had to add one more thing, because we all do. I'm not going to take all those off, but yeah, heck yes, I'm giving this as a gift to somebody. But okay, do you guys like this? Is that so cool? Isn't that neat? Okay, to make the cards really easy if you're a beginner, I took a sheet of paper. I had to figure out where I wanted it to close and fold, so that's why it's this shape. And obviously I'm going to have to make an envelope, custom make an envelope to fit it, right? But I took a basic sheet of paper, I cut out my dimensions, and then all you do is you fold it like this, and you're going to do a cut, and then you're going to take it and you're going to press it through and then fold it down. That gives you your stand-up. Okay? And then I took another sheet of paper and just cut it the exact same size, and that made the background of this. So I actually have two sheets of paper, one that has the fold and one that does not. It's actually very, very simple, but isn't that fun? I hope you guys are loving this. Debbie says she loves it. Julie loves it. Linda says very cute. That's great. Thank you guys. I need the love. Carletta says that's so cute. Marilyn, that's great. Denise goes, cutie. VA said, great idea with the magnet trick. Yeah, it is, because you need to get all those darn magnets. Yolanda said, I love it. What?
You want to show the magnets? On the fridge.
No, not yet. She's saying this is something from Anna Griffin that's supposed to hold a bunch of dies, and I kept it and just ended up using it to make magnet pieces for that. All right, there is card number 1. And girls and guys, we're doing more than cards. You've got to stay with me, because you're going to get tickled, okay? All right, here's the next one. I'm going to do a couple cards in the beginning just to kind of get you warmed up. So here's my next one. A little bit of the same concept. In this case, I actually used the print and cut, so it actually hand wrote for me the front of my card on my Cricut, and I'm going to stick it to the front of this card like this, and then I fussy cut a really cute little just flower. I would do dimensionality on this. I don't know why, I'm just not having luck with my glue today. So there's the front of that, right? So it says, start each day with a grateful heart. And again, if we go to my computer screen, look at this little cup of coffee I found, okay? And that's already ready to go. And it's going to know to print it and cut it just like it is, all right? So here it is in the full size. Well, the full size is actually almost 7 inches by about 5 inches on there, okay? But here's what it shrunk up to. Is that, okay, come on, like, can you stand it? For someone that drinks a lot of coffee or what have you, same concept. You can see, I measured my little card out to be that size, right? So again, I'm sure if I had more time, I would do hot glue on there, because they could pick the hot glue off, but you all get the idea. And then what the card says, if I finish it, you know what, DeWitt? I don't know what's going on. Daggone it. I don't know. I need sticky tonight. So the card front says, start each day with a grateful heart. You open it up, and also coffee. And again, keep the magnet. So just wanted to show you that one. And exact same technique as making the card, the first one, just a little different in length. Okay? So there's card number 2. All right, got to keep moving on. Now, okay, my really good friend Lisa is having her birthday coming up. And I wanted to she loves dogs. She has 2 dogs. She's insane. They're like her babies. She's never had kids, so they're just like her babies. And so I needed to make a dog theme. So of course, trust me, I'm giving these away to people because I think they're really cool. Anyway, so this is what I did. So if we go to, once again, my computer, so you can see Design Space. See, look what I found. Look how fun that is. It says happy birthday, right? It's so cute. I was like, oh my gosh. Again, I printed it out, let the Cricut cut it out, and then here's what I did. I'm going to be with her on her birthday. We're actually taking her out. So here's what I did. I took a jewelry back, which is a pin back. I cut a hole, and then I actually shoved it down in there on the top of my card. So I'm going to give her the card for her birthday, and then she has to take take this off and wear it as we're doing our pub crawl, okay?
Too cute.
I know, right? Thank you, DeWitt. I thought that was really fun. And I just had from my jewelry collection, I just had a pin back, so I just used it for that, which turned out I thought really adorable. So it's your birthday, and then she opens it up to do whatever makes your tail wag. I love you, Lise, and that's her card, and she's going to be receiving it here in a couple of weeks. So how fun would that be for a kid's birthday? They pull it off if you're going to an amusement park or it's their birthday party. It just makes people feel special. And when you build it into the card, you just make them wear it all day long, whether they want to or not. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my computer screen just to show you another quick idea that I thought was really, really cute. See that little monster with the 5? I thought that was so adorable, and I know I'll make something out of it eventually. But here's the finished product. And what I did with this time is I pre-cut just a square, and I actually pre-punched the holes. And the hole punch that I used for it, if I can find it, is going to be from We Are Memory Keepers. Now, I tried punching afterwards, and it tends to crack the material because it's really hard now. This is really hard. So I recommend you want to punch a bigger hole because you got to remember it's going to shrink down when you use it. So that's how I punched my holes, and I pre-punched it before I actually shrunk it. All right, so there you go. Just wanted to show you that one. Now, the next one we're going to do is I'm actually, believe it or not, going to shrink, okay? So this is one I made. Now, this is where I'm going to show you a little technique with it. And this is another one that I found the background online, but I wanted to stamp on it. So here's one I made that uses a different brand of this shrinky stuff. And what I discovered is when I stamped, the stamps were bleeding, and I was using a StazOn. So I was using a stamp ink that typically should stay sharp. But in the other brands, it bled, and you can see how that looks really mushy and it doesn't look very good, right? So what I really loved about ours, and this is specifically what you're going to pick up tonight, is I was able to brilliantly stamp on here. It's very clean, it's perfect. So I was really happy to test the two results because this smushed, and I really wanted, because I have a ton of stamps, I wanted to be able to do something really clean. So that's it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we are going to heat up, ready for my shrink cam. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to heat it up, but that's our shrink cam. So you guys are gonna see it happen in action. I love this. But because I forgot to heat it up, we're gonna have to take a couple seconds and I'll just show you a couple more ideas. So stand by because we're gonna see it shrink live in action. Now this next I'm gonna show you, this is really cool. Again, this is using specifically the shrink film that I'm featuring tonight, okay? So I used my StazOn on this, which is the black ink that I used. And then in this case, I used Cricut markers. And you know what? They're my markers you usually put in the Cricut machine. They worked great. They didn't smear the ink at all. And I'm going to shrink this for you too. Notice too that I have a place for the hole. So again, you've got to always remember you want to cut or punch a bigger hole because it's going to be much smaller when it's done. And I just freehand cut this one because it was a stamp, which will still look cool even when it's shrunk down. So just want to feature that. But this was cool because my Cricut markers, my old Cricut markers, worked great. Now I'm going to shrink that too in a second, but I wanted to show you another example that didn't work very well. Now remember, any of the stamping I did it on our sheets. So this might not work if you've got other brands out there, but it worked brilliantly with mine. Now this I found really interesting. On the other brand, you could only print or work on one side. Inks, regular stamp inks did not work, markers didn't work. A Sharpie would work, but you couldn't use the opposite side. So if I had any leftover paper, it was kind of a bummer because, you know, like this. For example, this was a cut and dye I did, but I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I can't use the opposite side. With our shrink film, you can use both sides. That was a huge difference. Now, in this case, I got the black ink to stick, but I used my Spectrum Noir markers because I wanted to try blending. That did not work. You can see it really mushed. See how it took it and it mushed the colors around? It's still going to be kind of cute when it's done, but it was very funny because I want you to experiment with your markers to figure out which ones will not, you know, smush everything together. And for some bizarre reason, I thought my Spectrum Noir would work on it, but it did not work in this case. But funny enough, my Cricut markers work great. So I don't know why, but just play with your markers. This is just a little quick tip to make sure we get it right. All right, I think we're ready. We're going to shrink our first thing. This is a very exciting moment, everyone, in online, I was going to say television history, but online history. So for those of you who are brand new and you've never seen how this works, part of the fun is actually watching the darned thing shrink up. So hopefully I have it hot enough. And if there we go, everybody. You're gonna see it, stay tuned. There it is. Oh, can you see, wait, watch this. Okay, look, it's curling. Oh, I left my piece of paper, my yellow piece of paper in there, my notes. Look, it's still working on top of my notes though. So it's shrinking, isn't this cool? This to me was the most fun thing about watching it, was seeing it shrink down to size. And then when it becomes plastic and really hard, like I said, the texture is different, the color's different. I hope it's gonna shrink all the way because it's got that piece of paper on it. But so what you do is just let it go. It curls up, and don't get freaked out at the curly part. Like everybody goes, oh no, it's gonna stick to itself. So far, it is not stuck to itself. Now I'm gonna give you another quick tip in just a second, is if it stays like that, I'll show you how we're gonna fix that. But I'm gonna give it just a couple more seconds. Most likely it's because I had my little cheat sheet underneath it and it's messing it up. But watch what I'm gonna do, and this is gonna happen really fast, so we're gonna have to go to the overhead here in 2 seconds, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my little door. Of course, you wanna be careful because all of this is really hot, blah, 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 you know how that works. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm putting something hard. Now, when I was at home, I was using, believe it or not, Sarah's Crafter's Companion new book she wrote. So you wanna put something heavy on it, which is gonna, to let it cool down, because it's hot. And then what you do is it'll be flat. So just make sure it kind of flattens it. Look, it still worked. Okay, now look what happened. How stinking cute. Okay, I hope you're all at home, hopefully squealing along with me. Now notice how much richer the colors became when it shrunk down. So you always want to keep that in mind. Again, I'm going to give you examples. So this is what I did. This was a different one that I did. But look how cute that is. And I put it on a little champagne bottle as a little gift. But think about if you're doing a rehearsal dinner or wedding reception and you want everybody to go home with a little something and you put the bride and groom's logo and thanks for being here. Like how fun is that, right? So I just thought that was really, really cool and fun. So there's a different idea for you. There you go. So there's our first shrink. Now I have never shrank anything that I did where I colored it in with the the Cricut markers. So here we go, guys. You ready? Dun, 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 dun. Yet another exciting moment in crafting history. We have with our shrink cam. Thank you, DeWitt. This is making me so happy you don't know. Oh, look, it's even shrinking before I can close it. Well, there, can I leave it open?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Let's see if it works. I don't want to burn, is this your personal camera? I do not want to burn the back of this camera. Are you sure? Look how fun that is, you guys. Oh my God, there it is, nice and flat.
That was perfect.
That was perfect. We're just gonna leave that down, even though I'm gonna be sweating like a pig in a second. All right, so we're gonna pop it off, and guess what? I'm gonna put my hard thing down here. You don't have to press it. I'm just doing it for, just to make sure. I used a book, and it's pretty easy. Okay, look at this. It's gonna be a little warm. Now, again, look at how deep those colors got. Isn't that cool? And that's the first time I've ever worked with those markers. So just make sure you know you're kind of going to experiment a little bit. So if I need, in this case, I'd probably used lighter colors than that. But isn't that neat how it worked? And notice when, remember I punched in the hole? That's the hole size. So it becomes an ornament, jewelry, whatever I want to do with it, a dog tag, it doesn't matter.
Question.
Yes.
I know, but what is under the shrinky? So when you do the shrinky, that is parchment
Oh, it's
paper?
parchment paper. Yeah, guys, this is parchment paper that I'm using. And they do recommend that, okay? All right, now this is gonna be interesting because this is with my Spectrum Noir markers. But here's what I did on this one, if you guys noticed, and I'm sure you already did. Watch this. Dyes. You actually can run this and use all those darn dyes you have. So you can, how cool is that? Can you imagine how much fun you're gonna have when you start combining the markers, the stamps, all this kind of stuff, and then grab your dyes? And so now, believe it or not, you can die cut this. So if you don't have a Cricut machine, you can freehand cut it, but you also, if you have a lot of dyes and you maybe just have a die cutting machine, okay, look at this. You ready for the shrink? Is everybody getting, this is got,
Oh, everyone, this is the moment.
is this the moment everybody's waiting for, right? So me too, right? Now remember, this is the first time I've ever done this using the Spectrum Noir markers. So we've seen what happens with the other markers. Now we're gonna see what happens with the Spectrum Noir markers. There we go. I'm so happy I can leave that door open. I'm just making sure we're not melting your phone or of our equipment.
I close it between, we're good.
Oh, you probably should, yeah. Okay, look, is that hysterical, you guys? It gets all twisted up. Oh, this is interesting, because this time it's not flattening out right. Now, if I had a pair of tweezers or something, let me see, you know what I'll get? Guess what I'm gonna get, guys? I'm gonna get, what is the tool we all love and we use for everything in life?
Dr. Hook!
Dr. Hook is getting involved. Let's see if, now this could have been for a number of reasons. I bet you most likely it is because of the marker I used. And I love my Spectrum Noir. That's not dogging out my Spectrum Noir in any way whatsoever. But here, Dr. Hook's coming to the rescue again. Let me see if I shut the door. I want to contain that, because it might be the cold is coming in from the front.
Yeah, that looks like that did it.
And did it flat? Yeah, no, it's, you know what? We got to shut the door on it. Yeah, too much cold was coming in from the front. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out. Let's do the official reveal. This is very interesting with markers. This is the first time I'm doing this, showing the markers. And again, flatten it, put something heavy on it. Let that sit for a second. And voila. Oh, this is fascinating. Okay, so these went really, really dark, like much darker than I anticipated. Isn't that interesting? So I think you're just gonna have to play with the markers. You know what I didn't try? I didn't try Sharpies because I didn't have any colored Sharpies. I wonder if that, because Sharpies will work. I did have black Sharpie and I did use that on some of the projects and it worked fine, but I didn't have any color Sharpies. So I'm kind of wondering if anybody has a tip on that, or maybe you've done this before. I'd love to know what kind of markers, but it's still kind of cool looking. By the way, that was just regular, that's Little Darlings ink I used up here. So I will tell you, and there it is, remember I was able to use the backside. What I think is really important to note is, on the other brand that I used, it would not allow me to use my inks and my stamps. With this one, that is going to be my Stays On, but that's regular Little Darlings ink I used on the Sun, and no bleeding, and it turned out perfect. So just a little FYI when you're playing with this stuff, okay? So let's see, what about colored pencils? You know what, I didn't try it. Great, I love that idea. Thank you, Rhoda. Thank you very much. Let's see, Tammy says, is this what they used in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Yes, most likely, I think it was. Okay, so let me show you some more ideas, because we ain't done yet. How am I doing on, oh, so funny. Deneen says, woohoo, Dr. Hook came out. You guys, this is from Cricut, and we were laughing every week. You see me use it on, so I would have used it on my little sticker stuff that I was opening up. Just gotta use it for everything. We renamed it Dr. Hook. We think that's a funny name. And I use it for literally almost anything you can think of. You always will see me work with it, but it comes from Cricut. All right, I wanna make sure you're making me laugh, guys. I love that. Let's see, Deneen said, oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. It really is. Ann said, been a long time since I used the shrink stuff. Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen is, I'm hoping tonight it'll either get you to get it out or you'll try ours and try it. Now, here we go. We are not done yet. Hang on, everybody. Oh, I do want to show you one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place. I want to show you the size of the stamp I started with when I did this cute little tag. If we can go to the overhead real quick, you can see if you've got those really large stamps, they become very fun. I really stuck with big images on the stamps because I was afraid if they were really small, you just wouldn't see the detail. But play with it, but that you can see that's a really, really big stamp I used. So you definitely want to start bigger and then kind of play around and see what happens when you're working with it. All right, so let's keep going. So I couldn't stop there because, well, you know, it's me. I'm telling you, I probably put more time playing with this than anything I've ever done. All right, we talked about that. Now, let's have a little fun. If we go back to, and I've got one more example I'm going to shrink because that's the exciting stuff. I'm going to go back to my screen. And I want you guys to see on my design space, this one, right, where is it? Right here. Okay, see this guy right here? Now, what I did is I had two images. I'm gonna detach that. So I'm gonna take that apart. It's actually two images. I've got that part, oops, sorry. Let me see if I can get off there. I have the circle and there it is. Now that's an open work too, which is going to be really cool. So what I did was I put the circle over it and I could stop there and just go like this and then you attach the two and then I hit attach down here below and now it's all one. So what I did though, which I thought was even more clever, is I actually did what's called a slice and I sliced that out. So there's going to be open work right here that cuts through the whole button. And also the button's going to come out when I work with it. If you look at this guy right here, I actually did another cutout so that my hole would already be preset when the machine cut it out. It gives you a much cleaner result. So you ready to see the finale on this? Okay, so here it is. I made wine tags. Come on, just to do this project, you probably want to get it just to try this. So I made a wine tag and see how that's, can you see it? Yeah, there it is. See how I was able to do the circle and do the cutout on the wine tag. And you could put initials on there, you could put people's, whatever images you want. So I did little wine tags, and I absolutely would do 10 of these as a gift to a friend, because I think it's so much fun, and I'd probably put their initials on it too, and I just think it's a really, really fun little project to do. All right, now let's keep on going. Another one I want to show you is the necklace I'm wearing, okay? So I'm going to take this off. And this was jewelry that, the links at least, were just a piece I've had for years and years and years. I finally decided to do something with it. So what I did was, and this is another project, and you have to come to me to show it. So here it is. I have this really cool chain link that I did. I really love this chain. And what I did was, and now we'll go to the overhead, is this is a heart that I had, and I got it from my Cricut design space. And so I did the heart. There, sorry guys, now it's in focus. I did a really big heart. It shrunk down to a pretty good size here. You can see the Cricut cut out the hole for me, which I loved. And then what I did, once I had it baked, then I went and stamped on top of it. So instead of pre-stamping, this is post-stamping, and it actually worked. It didn't bleed once I had it baked. Which was great. I did color it in a little bit with my black Sharpie to make, because that was open and I wanted it to be more visible. So I did use the black Sharpie on it, but that was after I had shrunk it. So again, play with that if you're going to do it. You can use your stamps afterwards, but definitely play with it to see what's going to work best, because I won't guarantee all inks and I will not guarantee all stamps will work. But just so you'll know, this was post shrinkage that I did it. Then I had this little charm I just threw on there, and then I made what I think is kind of a cool little necklace out of it. So that's that one. All right, and then up next, this was a really fun one. Again, these images I got from our design space. So this is really fun. I don't have it on here. I don't know what I did with them, but I thought they cracked me up and they made me laugh. And I actually wore them the other day to like an indie flea market thing. But look at these. How fun are these? And again, this all came from design space, but it could be from anything. You know, you could draw it if you want to. If you can get anything into your printer off your computer and have it print out on these sheets, you can make it, you can shrink it, okay? It's just virtually anything. But isn't that fun? I made those funny little earrings, and I just thought they were happy and they made me laugh. So see, the one's got the love. Oh, wait, gotta turn this back on because we're gonna still cook. And then the other one's got the goofy face. And wouldn't that be cute to give as a gift to somebody? Also, I don't know if you noticed, but for Valentine's, I made heart earrings too. Now this one, I'm gonna show you the original. Oh, you know what, we forgot to show my magnet too.
Oh, yeah.
But let me show you this. Now I'm going to talk about these next two things in just a second. But this is how they started, right there. And that's what they shrunk down to. So you just have to remember. And like I said, it is so, look at the color here. It's kind of lighter, which is great, because you can see how bright the color got when it shrunk. It really gets much more intense when you shrink it. And what was really fun, again, I let the Cricut cut this out. I let the Cricut do the print and cut. And so it cut out beautifully. I didn't have to hand cut it. All I had to do was shrink it when it was done. And it just all worked. Oh, I do want to mention, if you're cutting with your Cricut, I used the deep knife, little cutting pin you put in your Cricut. And then I did foam as my material because they don't have shrink as an option. And I cut it twice to get through the material. But again, that's when I want you to test and play with to see what depth you're going to need and what blade you're going to need to make sure you can cut those out. Just another little tip for you.
Question, what age range on this would you think?
Well, okay, you're working with a hot oven or a toaster oven, which what we're doing right now. So other than that, I think the rest of it's really fun. If I was an adult, I would put it in and out of the oven. But having the kids watch it actually do the shrinky thing, they'll just squeal. Like, because even as an adult, I thought it was hilarious and fun. I watched every one of them shrink. Like, could have just thrown them in and turned around and gotten a vodka and had called it a day, right? But I literally stood there and I watched. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So definitely, I think it's great for kids. You know what's really fun is have them draw a picture. Again, play with your markers and stuff like that. Have them draw something and then shrink it down for them and then give it to mom as a Mother's Day gift. I mean, the ideas are literally endless, but I love preserving children's artwork, and to be able to do it in a necklace or a keychain or a dog collar or whatever it might be. It's just really, really cool. Okay, so now I'm going to show you one more jewelry piece, and then we're going to talk home decor. Because yeah, I literally spent hours doing this. So one of the coolest things and one of the most popular things right now is to do state jewelry. And you put a heart where your city is, and you have to custom order it from like Etsy and that kind of thing. No, you can do it yourself now, okay? So here it is. I'm going to go to the overhead camera so you can see it. This is my state of Florida, where I live, obviously. Now, in this case, I did the image I got from the Cricut, so I did it on Design Space. In fact, if we go to my page on my computer, there's my Florida right there, and they have all the state's shapes, okay? Now, it did not print in black. I did not have it print in black, although I could have, I guess. But you could say print in black. No. Yeah, it would have print because it would have print through the printer, so it would have worked. But anyway, I did it in white for some reason. And then what I did is I preset the hole for my jewelry, and I also did a little what's called a slice of the heart. So that's actually an open section right there. You see that little heart? That's open. So again, this size is about 3.5 inches by 2 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and again, that's pretty cool because when you sort of play with the sizes, you get an idea of what the jewelry is going to end up looking like. Here's how it came out. So think 3 inches, which doesn't take up a lot of space, but it's so cool. So it came out like this, and there's my little heart. What I did is I actually used a black Sharpie and colored the whole thing. But in essence, I probably very well could have made it print just in black. I just didn't think about doing it. But isn't that fun? Do you guys like that one? I hope you do. I thought that was just really fun. And it's a really hip thing to do nowadays, is to have your state and wear your state on your neckline. Okay, isn't that fun? There's another idea. All right, I got the 15 minutes to go, and I still have a few more things to show you, and we're going to shrink 2 more things. Now,
Denise says this is so therapeutic. This show makes her happy.
Denise? Deneen said, this is so therapeutic, the show makes her happy. Thank you. Oh my God, that is so sweet of you to say. I'm glad you love it. All right, few more lessons here. Now we're gonna do home decor. This turned out so cool too. So imagine you go on a really cool vacation and you take some great pictures with your phone or whatever, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with them? What happens when you use this, the results are wildly different than a print. They're wildly different than just paper. Nothing compares. It's so cool, and you'll see it at home when you play with it. So I was online. Now this is just online goofing around. I was not in Design Space. So you don't have to have Design Space. You don't have to have a Cricut to do all this stuff. You can just find it online. If you can print it on your printer, you're going to be able to shrink it. So I want you to see what I did. This is the end result. Okay. So this is so funny. If you guys remember last Technique Tuesday, I used this canvas and I said I had messed a canvas up and I hated the results. So I pulled that canvas up, I used Sharpie all around the edge, and I did this, which is actually a picture. Now we have a shot of it on my wall at home because what happens is I put my foam tape behind it and it took a photograph, and because it's hard and it's so cool and different, it looks literally like this just really neat custom art piece. Now I'm going to show you a couple things that are very interesting. The first spin at it, again, you have to kind of play with it because it's going to be different for everybody. But the first spin, look how much darker that is. I had forgotten about the fact I needed to lighten the picture up. So when I printed the first one out and shrunk it, it got so dark it was ridiculous. So all I did is when I get to the place where it actually says print on your computer, when you go to print something on your printer, I just lightened the exposure a lot. And then the second time I did it, it shrunk down to this. So the first time, the original one looked like this, and I thought, well, that'll probably look pretty good, but it got super, super dark. The second time, I lightened this one up considerably, probably lighter than I would normally like, and look how cool that turned out. So if you've got a vacation picture that you love, or just whatever, right? How cool is this? And you can see that's the size. I used a half sheet to get to this size. So again, I wish you could almost see this in person, because once it happens, I swear you're just going to be like, okay, this is the coolest thing ever. The other thing too is if I wanted to put this in a card, let's say it's a memory of some vacation I took with somebody and I wanted to say, oh, thanks for the wonderful trip or whatever. I actually pre-did the holes, and what I was going to do with this one, had it turned out right, is I was going to use, I'm going to forget. Brads. I was going to use brads and put them in there and then fold them back on top of the card. So I pre-did 4 holes so I could use brads. I have a ton of brads I haven't used in forever, and there's a little tip for you there. So remember, lighten, lighten, lighten to get the best result. All right, we are not done. I want to show you, I'm going to shrink 2 more things, but I want to show you one more thing. Now, this is another example. Sorry about my head. This is my grandniece. She's so cute. Their name's Fallon, and she's adorable, right? So what I did in this case was I printed out her picture. I did it a second time, but I want you to see. In the first picture here, I made it this size, and then I used my die to cut it out. So I pre-cut it out using it through my machine. So printed my printer, run through my die machine, and then I cooked it, right? And it came out like this. But again, notice how darn dark that turned out. Way, way too dark. So I did it a second time, used a circle die, and lightened it up substantially, more than you'd think you need. And look how that turned out just perfect. Isn't that cute? And then again, if I put a hole in the top, so now I can make this little necklace for her mom, and she would just like die. She'd be like, oh my God, you made me this necklace, that's so cool, right? So again, or it could be a magnet or whatever. But just again, I wanted to share that tip with you about that whole color change, because I don't want you to be surprised, because you don't want to use a whole sheet and just go, oh, daggone it. You might want to do a little test corner to see and experiment a little bit. All right, so that's that one. Now, I promised I would shrink a couple more things, because everybody loves the shrinking.
That's what we're all waiting for.
I know, the shrink, right? You're like, enough of the ideas already. So this one, I am just going to hand cut myself. And what I wanted to do was, I thought, oh my gosh, how cute will this be if I make a dog tag? So again, you're going to see me brutalize this. Oh, do be careful. You see what I just did there? I actually, it will kind of take off on you. And what I discovered is when you go to the melting process, it fixes it. So really, honestly, you don't have to worry about it too much. But you do want it when you're doing curves like this, and I would use smaller scissors. That's probably not helping either. But I'm going to cut out this. And I wanted to make a dog tag for my doggy T-Bone. And you know how expensive dog tags are to get them custom made? They cost a fortune. You ever gone on Etsy and you're like, oh, that'd be the cutest little thing. I'm going to have it custom made. Then you're like, really? $50 later? Gang, for pennies, we're doing all this cuteness, okay? I mean, pennies. Now, if I got really clever, I could stamp on it if I wanted to. I could also have done this in my Cricut Design Space, because that's the image I got was from, did I get it from Cricut Design? I don't know. Maybe I did the whole thing in Cricut Design.
We have a bunch of questions about printers.
Okay.
Any particular type of printer needed for this?
Don't use a laser, believe it or not, just a basic old inkjet printer. And again, you just want to play with this to start with till you get a feel for it. So once again, because this is going to be a dog collar, but you do want to use just a good old inkjet printer. I happen to have an HP. I've had it for a gazillion years. Here we go. I should just do a TikTok where all I do is just do these for like an hour.
Take over TikTok.
Yeah, I'll take over TikTok. I'll be like the queen of TikTok. Oh, wait, where's my hook? And again, if you're using your oven at home, you get more space for your hands to work with it. Oh, it's going anyway, whether it likes it to or not. Don't stick, don't stick, don't stick. Come on. Oh, it's going to stick on there. Oh, my Dr. Hook's not working. I'm going to screw. Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh.
Oh, daggone it. All right, don't worry. Never fear. Well, darn it, that one was going to be so cute. I was looking forward to it. You know, it's okay, because when you see the mistakes, you know what not to do. And again, you got to remember, I got a camera right in front of me, so I'm fighting with that. I'm fighting with the door, time. And when you're at home, oh, let's see if I can, I don't know. Let's see, guys. Let's see if we can save our doggy. Is it flattening out? It is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That is remarkable. It is. That's hilarious. He's still going to have a gash in him because the Dr. Hook got him, but what the heck. You'll get the idea. How fun is that? I am going to do one more, too.
They love the bloopers, though.
Yeah, well, because you know this is what you do at home. But again, I'm wrestling with this little teeny toaster, and thank you, DeWitt. He's so sweet to bring it in. When you're using your oven, you got lots more room to stick your hands in there, and you will not have a camera. And I'm trying to, this I think is DeWitt's personal camera, so I'm trying not to completely melt his camera. All right, there we go. So let's get this out. Yeah, it is mangled, but again, I'm going to put the weight on it. Make sure you put a book or weight on there or something like that. It's going to help flatten it. Most of the time, they come out perfectly flat, but they do recommend that you do this. And then I'm going to pop it up. Yeah, sure, he's a little mangled. He's from the dog pound. He's gotten in some fights. But again, isn't that just, love this stuff. Because it's like, when it's done, it feels cool, and it's got this hardness to it. And again, I mangled it, but you get the idea. All right, guys, before we're done, because I know I have to wrap it up, I've got one last one I'm going to do. And once again, this is me making a little tag, but I want to show you do not need Cricut to be able to do all this, because some of you just don't have the Cricut machine. I totally get it. So I'm going to use just regular die, run it through. In fact, I'm using my diamond press right now. And we're going to shrink this last one before I wrap it up, daggone it. Now, once again, and it actually works great with die cuts. It's so clean. And it really, it's all actually quicker with die cuts, because with the Cricut, you got to go have it pass a couple times. Oh, I want to make sure. And again, in this case, I used my Stays On ink, and I used my Cricut markers. I'm going to go ahead and put my hole up here because this is going to be another one of my wine tags. But in this case, I want it to be a colored wine tag. I didn't want it to be just black and white. So hopefully I will not mess this one up. This thing goes so fast when it gets in there that it's ready to curl. Okay, there we go. Let's watch the magic happen one more time. What's the age range? Oh, we talked about that. I want to make sure I'm trying to get to all the... Okay, so Donna says, an idea. You can put these in pockets on scrapbook pages, cards attached with twine ribbon. Such a good idea. Thank you, Donna. Diamond says you can see making custom zipper pulls with this and permanent gift tags. Custom zipper pulls. Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, I got goosebumps on that one. Patty said you prefer the white shrink over the clear. I actually so far prefer the white because I think it shows the colors better. Oh, look, that one went perfect. Look how that. Oh, one other thing, little thing to note, just because I don't want you to have any surprises. Sometimes the shapes will come out a little bit wonky, but you know, who cares? But they don't all the time, but sometimes they do. Like the one I did on the picture, like this one, because I'm super crazed, it's a little bit off kilter over here. See how it goes out a little bit? But it's still super cool. See how that curves out a little bit? I tried to shave it and cut it down. You might be able to sand that down. I didn't try that. I want to be able to do that. But just so you know, I don't want you to be surprised. All right. Oop. It's in my lap. Did I save it? I did. Dun, dun, dun,
So we
dun.
have someone asking about a laser printer again. Now, according to graphics, you can use a laser printer, but an inkjet printer is recommended.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah, because I only have an inkjet, so and all my instructions say inkjet on both brands that I used, ours and the other one. Okay, so I just want you to see, so look how cool that little color turned out. Quick, easy, fast, and that's with stays on ink, okay? So that was for me the big difference between the brand that I tried and then our brand is the fact that I could use my inks on it. With the other brands, they just smushed and they smeared. Oh, well, you know what? I'll show you one more last thing. So I thought, well, what about, I have terrible handwriting, guys, ignore this. I said, well, let me just write to my crafting cuties, I want to make you a tag, right? And again, this is using, I don't even know what marker it was, I'm not even sure. But it really smudged, like it just kind of blurred out. And you can see my heart looks terrible. And that is because this is another brand. But I do not have a preference. I've only worked with white, but yes, there's definitely clear out there. I don't think we have clear in stock. I just worked with white because that's what we had in stock. And let me grab it again one more time. So there it is. I want to make sure. Do you think the Spectrum Noir metallic pencils would work? I would 100% try it. The only thing I would think about pencils is, will they be permanent? When you use the inks and you're doing all these projects, this is on here. Now, some people did recommend doing like a Mod Podge on top or doing something on top. I'm not sure you have to. I mean, I've not used these, I haven't gifted it, but I mean, that's pretty darn permanent, you can see, right? But I think with the pencils, it might not become one with the shrink. But I don't know, so again, get it at home, try it out. I'd love to know, actually. That's not one thing that I tried. Amelia says, this is so much fun. Diana's watching, Wilma says, oh, cool. Peggy says, cute ideas. Linda says, were your necklace and earrings made with the shrink film? Yes, absolutely. So let me show you. I did this necklace with my shrink film, this one. I did this necklace with my shrink, okay? I did these earrings with the shrink. And the earrings I'm wearing right now, which we could just show on me, I guess, that's all with the shrink. But imagine if you just put your dogs on there. I mean, there's so much funny things you could do with this too. I love all the ideas too. Okay, let's see. Coletta says, I stamped and made earrings with shrink stuff way back in the day, LOL. Yeah, you know what, but I think for me, like this is a whole different experience of using it. I thought luggage tags would be really cute too. I think, boy, if you want to make some custom-made luggage tags with monograms and stuff, it'd be so cute. Melody says tip to sand the shrink paper first to accept the ink or paint. Oh, well, there you go. So she's saying if you have shrink paper, you want to sand it first, and then it's going to accept it. So there you go. That's ink or paint. So give it a try. I don't know. I did know that, again, the reason I like this the most is my ink worked without it mushing and sanding. And the other ones you couldn't use both sides. On this one, you can use either side. So if I had a leftover piece with a goof on the back, I just used the opposite side. And that was, for me, the reason why I would probably buy this before maybe buying some other brands out there. But thank you so much for the tip.
We have a couple questions on this. It shrinks, I'm reading it right now, but to about how big?
It'll go to about, it's different. Here's what's really weird. Typically they say about 20% the original size. So what I did when I was on Design Space, I played with a lot of different measurements to see what the results would be. And once you figure that out, it gives you kind of a real good idea of where it's going to shrink down to. Like for the jewelry pieces, I figured it out and I said, oh yeah, that's a great size for a little dangle earring. I really like that size. So once you do a couple of these, you'll figure out really quickly, you can kind of do it in your head what you think the final size is going to look like. I'll make sure I get any more. Let's see before I say goodbye to you guys and wrap it up. Does the heating process give off any odors? No. I didn't think so. I didn't smell anything, but you know, people are all different, so I don't want to say absolutely it doesn't. But no, I did not smell anything harsh, or I didn't get a blast of, oh wow, that's bad. But everybody's different, so I can't guarantee it, Coletta, but I think you're okay. Denise says, so therapeutic. I mean, this show, you make my heart so happy. Oh, Denise, thank you. Debbie said, inkjet printer. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to kind of go fast. Julie said, super loved that one. Jen said, can't wait to do Michigan. Yay, you're going to do Michigan. I love it. She's going to do one of the state ones. Yay. And this is really a cool hip look. I don't know if you guys have seen all the stuff that's out there, but on Etsy, you spend a little mini fortune getting somebody to make you a custom one, especially if you want to put the heart or the dot or a star of where your city is. To customize it like that, that gets really expensive. All right, let's see. Teresa says, yike, voice is different from lips moving. Are we off? I don't know. I don't think so. It might be your internet. I'm not 100% sure. Paula, I just used a heat embossing gun to shrink it. Yeah, I did not do that. I was following the instructions exactly. Yeah, I'm sure you could use the gun because they get hot enough, but I'll tell you, the oven's pretty easy because you just shove it in there and then it kind of does it, and you're not touching it. You know, with the heat gun, you could actually blow it one way or another, and I'd be afraid it'd blow and then it'd be all curled up on itself. But yeah, heat gun, I'm sure worked, so thank you for sharing that. Wilma said, I'm wondering if it would work on school pictures. Well, you have to scan the school pictures or get the school pictures in your computer and lighten them up. Make sure you lighten them up. You want to make them brighter than you think or lighter than you think. It's kind of weird because you're like, that seems pretty light, but you want to lighten them up. If it can get on your computer and you can run these papers through your printer, then it'll work. How fun would that be? School pictures? I can't even stand it. I know I got to wrap it up. Did I get to everybody? Sorry to make the hole. Oh, I'm sorry. How did you make the hole in the image to cut out? I'll show you. I use this. This is from We Are Memory Keepers. It's actually for setting eyelets, setting eyelets. And it has one size on one side and one side on the other, and that's how I made the hole. Because you can you can use a hole punch on this, like you can a die. On the computer, I actually did what's called a slice, and I actually moved a circle and then sliced it out so it would make a hole, and I let the Cricut cut it in that case. All right, any other questions I want to get to? Darn, I'm going to have to leave. State of the Union is starting. Okay, well, me over the State of the Union? Come on, the president. I'm kidding. Love the photo idea, Suzanne. Thanks, Coletta. Lori said, love that idea. You could shrink copies of sonograms. So precious.
You
precious.
Just killed us in the studio.
Yeah, like I'm about to cry. I don't even know why. Jen says, I'm a hobby photographer. I'm going to try this. I have thousands of photos. Yeah, I mean, especially Jen, can you imagine giving a client, like if it's a really cool picture of a wedding or something, and then doing, because when you get the finished results, it doesn't look like a photo at all. It's just really cool. Okay, I want to go. I got to go. We'll work with laser printer. I guess, yes, it does. Again, I would do a little test first. Nancy, don't need a Cricut machine to do these things. No, absolutely not. You could hand cut all this out. I could have cut these circles out. I just wanted to use my Cricut and the images on there to see how it worked. But yeah, you can hand cut everything. You can use dies if you want to. All right, did I get them all? Because I know I got to run. You can luggage tags, yep. Ornaments for your animals, very cute. Thank you, Jen. I love sharing all the ideas because I don't really want to. We talked about that. Abort the mission. Yeah. On the dog tag. Yeah, abort. Is there any other questions I need to get to that you saw?
Super
Are we
impressive. Lots of
good?
people ordering it. We definitely
I
want to see
missed
your
the
thing,
show. You can weigh them down with the object while you're still very warm to flatten them. Yeah, I was using Sarah's book because I had it handy dandy to weigh them down at the end. Could you do a front and back on a dog tag by putting two pieces together? Well, I'll tell you what you might want to play around with if you're really smart, because remember, you can print on both sides of these, which you can't with some of the other ones, is you might be able to print the one image here and then run it through your printer and run it at the exact same spot over here and then cut it out once, and then you would have the image on both sides. Because I'll show you, and I know I gotta go, I'm sorry guys. Oh, I made such a mess, as I always do. Where's my horrible dog tag? Here it is. No, wait, that wasn't it. It was this guy. So see here, remember I used the, show the top. This is the one that I printed on the back of it. That's the outline of my print and cut. And then I went ahead and did all this on the front, and you can't see through it. So in essence, you could print on both sides and get 2 pictures out of it. That would be very, you know, one other thing, I'm sorry, and I really swear to God I'll let you go, is you know those cards that when you open them up, you can come back to me, when you open them up and they spin in the center? I was gonna make one of those and I forgot to do it, dang on it. All right, on that note, you guys, yes, buy it online. You get 6 sheets. It's 8.5 by 11. You don't need a whole lot of it to do a whole lot of projects. So definitely try it out. I hope you will. We got flex pay on it and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so here's what's happening next week. DeWitt, I'm still at 8 o'clock in, aren't I?
Yes.
We're at 8 o'clock next Tuesday. You got to join me right here. I will have guests next week. It's not a Technique Tuesday. We will be guested. So on Valentine's Day, yes, I'm coming in for all of you because I love you. We are going to have guests. I don't even know who, God bless my guests who are going to be joining me next week. They're like, really?
I can tell you this. It's going to be a fun show.
Is it really?
I don't want to leak too much more.
I'm not even sure what the products are, to be honest with you. I guess I got to find that out before next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys. I love you all so much, as you know. I hope you enjoyed this Technique Tuesday. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you soon on the air and also next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Thanks. Bye.